What up? It's your boy T-Bone Reaction. Today's music money. About to get to a video from the homie L Train of Luke Kitchen. It's about one of the most underrated and iconic drum sample by a underrated iconic drummer that rarely talk about unless you're a hip hop head, a music lover, or even James Brown fan. That's none other than the legendary himself, Clyde Stubblefield. His drum groove is one of the most well-known drum breaks you see in hip hop songs till this day, and which expand to hip hop into other genres as well too. And he even have his own drum pack and a lot of production kits as well too, though. As well, so yeah, we're gonna check a look at from L Train how Clyde Stubblefield drum groove changed hip hop forever. The AK. Let's check out more story about the one and only the man himself, the funky drummer, as they call him. Let's get it.
This is one of the most famous breaks in history. It's been called the DNA of modern music, sampled in thousands of songs across every genre. But the man behind it, Clyde Stubblefield, the funky drummer, never saw a cent from the break he created. Released in
Jesus, man. I just got finished doing a video about Jocelyn Brown talking about her song Somebody's Guy and how it's been sampled. She really never received a dime about it as well too. Dang. You gotta love the industry. You gotta love this industry, I guess. Wow. I'm being sarcastic, by the way, in case you don't realize it.
In 1970, it quickly disappeared into obscurity, overshadowed by bigger James Brown hits. To understand how we got here, though, we need to rewind all the way back to 1940s Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga was a segregated southern city of factories, trains, and small clubs. And it was here that a young Clyde Stubblefield first picked up a pair of sticks.
When I was in grade school, for sixth grade, we had a marching band downtown. And we went downtown, and the drums passed by from the Air Force, and they got me in the chest. It felt good. On the way home, I went home just humming like... I got home and I got some sticks and tin cans and played on them. And that's how I started.
From the beginning, Clyde was carving out his own path, pulling ideas from sounds around him.
I don't read music. I don't write music. It's like Chinese writing.
Wow.
But I love music, and I perform it the
It's
way
crazy how people are like
my
that, though,
soul and heart
man.
feel.
By his teens, Clyde was already playing in local bands and building a reputation in the neighborhood.
I was one of the band people in the neighborhood called us the rock walking band because we carried our instruments to the gig.
Wow.
Man, just like walking down the marching band. And people be sitting on the porch going, there go that marching band.
The venues weren't glamorous. Kitchens, back rooms, anywhere they could squeeze in a band.
And a lot of times we played the moonshine houses. You set up in the kitchen or something, probably make about maybe $1. We'd have lots of moonshine.
His reputation was growing, and with it came chances to play alongside bigger names.
The Cascades, the band I was playing with, we played behind Otis Redding, sit in with him. And then I decided I was going to leave, and I moved down to Macon, Georgia, and I started playing with Eddie Kirkland.
And then came a night in Georgia that would change everything.
Oh, here we go.
A packed club, a chance encounter, and a man who would alter the course of his life.
I went to a club one night, a friend of James Brown that owned it, and I was jamming. Brown sent someone up and said, hey, Clyde, when you get through, Mr. Brown wants to talk to you.
It was the start of a life-changing audition. Within a week, Clyde was on stage with James Brown in Augusta, Georgia.
He took me on stage, and the place was jam-packed with people. I was shaking and scared. He said, sit in and jam with me. We jammed, and he was smiling and liked it.
At first, Clyde thought nothing would come with it. But a couple of weeks later, Brown called him back, this time to North Carolina.
They put me on a flight. I went to the auditorium, and I stood on the side of the stage, and that was the only time I ever stood on the side of the stage.
When Clyde joined James Brown's band in 1965, he wasn't the only drummer on stage. Sitting next to him was John Jabbo Starks, a drummer Clyde already knew from records.
He's the drummer was there before I got there, and I used to sit and listen to him when I was a little kid. I used to idol this dude, and I never had an idea I would be sitting next to him playing drums.
For years, Clyde had been copying Jabbo's parts off the radio, shaping his own style from what he heard on those Bobby Bland records.
He was the only drummer I heard on record in the radio.
Bobby
I never
Bland.
paid any other drummer any attention. But when I heard Bobby Bland and all these things, I'm going to play like this. This is the groove I want.
Side by side, their difference became an advantage. Jabbo leaned towards jazz and blues, and Clyde drove harder into funk and soul. Brown could point to either one depending on the feel he wanted.
Jabbo is a swing funk groover. I'm a dominant funk groove. So if Brown wanted to change the groove and get another idea going, he would point to another drummer, and I'd take it, or Jabbo would take it, whichever.
Jabbo was the glue. Clyde brought the shine.
John Jabbo Starks is, in my opinion,
Wesley.
really the meat and potatoes of the James Brown drummers. Whereas Clyde's drumming on What Do I Have to Do to Prove My Love to You is a wonder to hear, because his left hand.
Yep.
Together they laid the foundation for funk itself. And in 1967, Clyde sat behind the kit for his first official recording with James Brown, Cold Sweat, often called the first true funk record.
That tune, I just got in the studio myself in the booth and started playing this riff. And Pee Wee and the bass players came in with me. I was just sitting in the booth playing that type of a rhythm, and everybody folded in with me, and that's how Cold Sweat started.
With Clyde and Jabbo manning the rhythm section, Brown's band hit peak form by the end of the decade. And in November 1969 at King's Studios in Cincinnati, they cut another record, one that didn't seem important at the time.
We had been playing somewhere that night before. And as we get to Cincinnati, going to check into the hotel to go to bed, Brown says, take them to the studio. We all were so tired. We didn't want to record. So I started playing just a drum pattern. Brown liked it, and we recorded it.
Oh, wow.
Became our funky drummer.
On the tape, you can hear Brown directing it,
When I count to 4, I want everybody to lay out and let the drummer go.
telling him not to turn it loose, just keep the beat.
You don't have to do no soloing, brother, just keep what you got.
Then naming the tune on the spot.
The name of this tune is The Funky Drummer.
It's just off rhythms. It's like syncopation's more the thing. They call them ghost notes. It's notes that's not there, but I put them there. I came up with that out of the blue, so it's my idea of how I feel the funk should be.
Released in 1970 as a two-part single, Funky Drummer never charted. Overshadowed by Brown's bigger hits, it quietly disappeared from view.
They've only had one failed single, and that single's name was Funky Drummer.
That's crazy.
Drummer, which is legendary, but you couldn't give the record away.
Crazy. Always be like that. This scare. It was like equivalent to like these movies that originally bombed becoming cult classic and stuff like that though. That's crazy how it'd be like the scare records. Even like I think the Amen Brother was like a scare record in a way, and then being a hit as well too though. That's crazy.
Wait, didn't sell.
At the time, it looked like a flop, but hidden in those few bars was a break the world wasn't finished with yet. In the early 1970s, a new culture was being born in New York. DJs like Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, and Africa Bambaataa discovered that the most exciting part of a record wasn't the verse or the chorus, it was the break. With two turntables, they could loop those breaks endlessly.
What we used to do is take the turntables and go through our mothers and fathers' old records, and we used to find nothing but James Brown records in the crate. We used to take it and we used to loop and listen to one part that was just so nice, and we used to just keep it going over and over again.
This was the perfect soundtrack for the parties, for the b-boys, and for the emerging hip-hop scene. At the center of it all was James Brown. His records became the backbone of hip-hop's earliest parties.
He was rediscovered. All in the eras from hip-hop and b-boy, cats were losing their mind to give it up, turn it loose. Brought to you by Cool DJ Herc, Africa Bambaataa, the Grandmaster Flash, Lovebug Starsky.
James Brown is the ultimate of anything that's called hip-hop. There'd probably be no hip-hop wasn't for James Brown.
But not every James Brown record became a staple. Unlike those bigger cuts, Funky Drummer wasn't widely played. Maybe a few DJs had copies, but it never circulated the way those album tracks did. By the 1980s, hip-hop was evolving. DJs were becoming producers. Instead of just spinning breaks live, they began sampling them to build whole new tracks. Songs like Funky President and Get Up Off of That Thing were being chopped at the start of the decade. But the first known use of funky drummer didn't arrive until 1985, when MC Quick Quintin and MC Mellow J's The Classy MCs. Then in 1986, Polydor released In the Jungle Groove, a new James Brown compilation that included an unedited version of Funky Drummer.
Yep.
And for the first time...
Yeah, I forgot what video I watched that mentioned about that. That's crazy. That's how the... Digging the Grace, I think, my boy Brandon mentioned that as well too. That's how some of these drums came from as well too. And then the video he did about the breakbeat records as well too.
Clyde's isolated drum loop on the bonus beat reprise. 3 minutes of uninterrupted drumming.
Yup, this one, yup.
With affordable samplers like the EMU SP12 hitting the market a year earlier, the timing was perfect. Producers were suddenly hunting for clean drum loops, and Clyde's grooves had just been dropped into their laps. The following year, Funky Drummer appeared on the infamous Ultimate Breaks and Beats compilation.
Yup, there you go.
The underground bible for DJs and
Yup,
producers.
one he missed, bro.
Once the break was back in circulation, it spread like wildfire. Producers seized on Clyde's 6 seconds of funk and flipped it into the backbone of hip-hop's new sound. One of the first examples came from Marley Marl, producing Cool G Rap's It's a Demo. Working with the limitations of samplers at the time, he had to chop the break in inventive ways.
That was the actual first song that really came out utilizing James Brown funky drummer beat. What I did, I took the snare, the hi-hat, and the ghost note that was following in one sample. And I just put that to the beat. Because you got to think, in the early times, we didn't have a lot of sampling time.
Public Enemy turned it into a weapon. The Bomb Squad scattered the break around their dense collages. Fight the power. Bring noise. Rebel without...
Yes!
And they weren't alone. LL Cool J opened Mama Said Knock You Out with it. De La Soul, NWA, and the Beastie Boys all put their own spin on Clyde's rhythm. Soon, the break leaped beyond hip-hop altogether. Sinead O'Connor's I'm Stretched on Your Grave.
Yeah.
And George Michael's Freedom 90.
Ooh, yep. Yup. That's true. Oh, yeah.
Pushed it into mainstream pop. From a once forgotten single, Clyde's drum beat had become one of the most sampled breaks in music history. But while others were profiting from it, Clyde himself was still unaware of how far it travelled.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right, time for a quick break before we dive into the last and craziest part of Clyde's story. We all know there's legendary breaks like Funky Drummer out there. But if you're looking for melodic samples to actually chop those drums against,
check it out.
Chords, textures, soulful loops, that's exactly what we make at Loop Kitchen. And I put together this quick beat, first of all chopping up the Funky Drummer break, and then using all melodic stems from the pack to show you just what you can do with it.
Okay, nice.
Right now, you can grab any pack from our site, buy one, get one free, with the code GIVETHEDRUMMERSOME at checkout. And if you just want to try a few first, there are free packs which you can download too. We've also got our own Discord, a great place to share your music, get feedback, grab samples, or join our beat battles. And the links for both of those are down in the description. While Clyde's break was echoing across the world, his own life looked very different. In Madison, Wisconsin, he was playing Monday night gigs, beloved by locals, but far from wealthy.
I hate that song. Was it the Funky Drummer? Yeah, I don't like that song.
Damn.
To him, it was just a throwaway groove. And in the 1960s, musicians were paid for hire, so no royalties. Despite being sampled countless times, Clyde never saw a cent.
That
It was
sucks.
James Brown who held the writing credit.
I never got a thanks. I never got a hello, how you doing, or anything
Damn,
from any
James.
rap artist.
By the early 2000s, Clyde's health was failing. Kidney disease, cancer, and mounting medical bills. Nearly $90,000 in debt he couldn't afford to pay. But then a call came out of the blue.
His wife got the call while Clyde was in chemo for bladder cancer about 15 years ago. It was Prince's people. How much Clyde needed for hospital bills. From one music legend to another, Prince gave
God, I love Prince, man. R.I.P. that man.
Clyde $80,000, asking that the gift stay between them.
Among musicians, his reputation was untouchable. Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Chad Smith once called him the funkiest human being walking this planet.
That's pretty
Questlove
nice.
described him as the funkiest drummer of all time. Recognition finally followed. A place in Rolling Stone's top 10 drummers of all time. And when Clyde Stubblefield died in 2017, at the age of 73, tributes poured in from around the world. On paper, it was just another James Brown track. But those 6 seconds carried Clyde Stubblefield further than he ever could have imagined. The record called him the funky drummer. And in the end, so did the whole world.
Wow.
And if you've enjoyed this video, it's part of my series, These Are the Breaks,
These
where
Are
we
the
dive
Breaks.
into the stories behind hip-hop's most iconic drum breaks.
Oh, okay, so that's part of that series well too. This is pretty cool. Let me let me look into his channel as well too, because you might have like a playlist of what the series are with some of these. Some I'll just be picking up. I'll be picking out the bluish stuff, but yeah, one is Behind the Records, and then another one is These Are the Breaks. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Other than that, though, if Producers Corners, of course, you got the Producers Corners. So yeah, what's that? All this stuff. No, this is like his stuff that he does. You know, he like kind of what Nappy Dude does in a way as well too. Yeah. Other than that, if you like my reaction, this all Behind the Records. But anyway, if you like my reaction, shout out to L Train always. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.